Eriberto Perez coming with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new King's Art 1:1 scale movie prop of the Iron Man Reactor Pepper Potts gift set. A lot of that is kind of jumbled, like 1:1. What? And then the other thing is, I'm a pretty big Iron Man fan. I don't remember this at all being in an Iron Man 2. And that seems strange. This is an officially licensed product. So I don't get it at all. Now, I've done the, what was it, the Mark 6, I think, arc reactor from King's Art. And that was great. You had that really cool mechanism aspect where you can have a burnt palladium core and then you could replace it with other. I mean, I love that. Now, this doesn't do all that stuff. This is fairly simple. It is the Mark 1 arc reactor, but it again became very popular because it was featured at Tony Stark's funeral. So, you knew I had to have it. You come around to the side, again, you got the 1/1, I don't know, back section here. It just has contact information, but again, you got that Marvel logo. So, again, this is an officially licensed product. I just don't really get the weird wording. Top section has that. Bottom section doesn't have anything. And the inside of it, very, very simplistic. All you really have is the foam that kind of protects it. You move it down and then you have the plastic clamshell that houses the arc reactor. So for the packaging on it, that's about it. There are aspects I don't get. Like I said, the biggest thing being I don't understand the Iron Man 2 reference. But for the packaging on this thing, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get it out here and see how cool it actually is. And here we have the new King Arts Mark 1 Iron Man arc reactor, apparently from Iron Man 2, open up and out of its packaging. And there's a little bit of assembly that is required when you get it. Setting this off to the back, this section right here, the proof that Tony Stark has a heart piece, has to be screwed in to this section of the base. And then you can see it kind of like angles a little bit, so you can kind of position it, but obviously you're going to want it on an angle like that. The bottom section here has a lot of cat hair on it. That's entirely my fault. But you got a nice felt, I don't really want to say a pad because it's not very padded. It's just a felt piece of material that is probably there just to prevent it from getting scratched up. And then you see the top section there has a nice silver paint, really nice. This section here is actually made out of die cast. There's several die cast pieces in here. Now, I initially thought that it could be disassembled so you could see the parts. That's the way that some of the images for the pre-order and everything kind of depicted this. That's not the case at all. It's not meant to be taken apart. It was just shown in a taken apart sort of thing to illustrate what pieces are die cast. And this entire top section here is made out of die cast. It's a really nice material. You can see you got a very nice glossy reflective silver paint on there, which looks great. Obviously, proof that Tony Stark has a heart, looks really very nice, and is a really very cool display option. Now, it also does come with, and this is going to be very hard to see, but it has this really nice acrylic square case that obviously just fits over and fits in those little grooves along the bottom, so you can, again, get this out of the way, so you can display it as kind of Pepper gave it to him. I mean, it was a gift from Pepper. I mean, that was no doubt, but it wasn't in Iron Man 2, so I don't get it. So I do really like that as a display option. Both ways can be displayed very nicely, whether you have that on there or not. It does look really cool. And then here is the arc reactor. I'm going to come in here to take a closer look at this. Again, absolute gorgeous detail on this piece. I did a freeze frame image between this and the one that we saw up close in Endgame, and it looks very, very close. One thing that I will say is that the way that it was positioned there, it kind of looked, now obviously you can take this, let me zoom up a little bit here, a little bit of zoomy. There we go. You can take this and obviously fit this through here as the display option. Now, when I was trying to line everything up so that like the words and everything matched perfectly with this, one thing that I noticed is that it was a little off. The spacing was a little bit different. So this, I feel, is not sized absolutely spot on to those real props. It's close enough. I'm just a super nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff, and I'm very particular about it. The other thing that I was I'll be honest, disappointed. I don't know how well this is going to come across, but let me see if you can kind of see, like, right here, a little bit. Yeah, there you go. A little bit of scratching on the paint. Now, that was there before I ever even put it in that piece right there. So I thought maybe I had scratched something, but I didn't. And then there's a couple. You got another little scratch mark right there that was kind of disappointing. Now, I should be able to fix that. I'm not going to bother sending this back in, although I should, because this thing is a fairly pricey piece, but like I said, that's really not acceptable. And the other thing that I can't really show right now is that these screws on the underside here had some scratch on the base section. So it honestly almost looked like they put it on already and then it subsequently scratched the paint. Again, it's not something that I'm happy about. It will bother me for the whole length of time that I own this particular piece. But like I said, some of that little silver paint I could probably touch up with just maybe like a silver Sharpie, just a little dab on there. That one's the worst one right there. So definitely unfortunate. But you can see absolute gorgeous detail throughout the entire thing. You can see like the copper wires and everything. This was the arc reactor that he created while he was in captivity. And you can definitely see a little bit of a homemade element to it. But terrific detail throughout the entire thing. You have the wire right here. You got this section which plugged into, well, it's not focusing, that plugged into like his body or something. But again, really very nice detail. Now you can take this out. It requires 3 LR44 batteries that you can get pretty much at any shop, and then turning that like that locks it into place. If you turn it once more though, it lights up, and it actually lights up really very nicely. You can see the whole section around here lights up very nicely. The middle section here looks really very good. It's a very bright light. Obviously you're going to be able to see it a lot better with my lights off, but I feel like the diffusion of the lights is actually better than on that previous arc reactor that I had. There were some just issues with that one where some pieces look like it was lit up a little bit more than others. But I think that looks really nice. I want to say that these bits here were supposed to light up. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. You do get some bleed through the back section here where the battery compartment is. That's not terrible. I wish that was a little bit more sealed. They probably could have put a little ring around there to keep that a little bit more kind of closed off. And I guess, I mean, I could probably do that myself again, but when you pay this much for it, really should you do anything like that? And then obviously the full display, you put it in like so, bring that around. That's actually kind of where it's supposed to be lined up, I believe, kind of like that, I want to say. And then setting, then you can kind of take the wire, kind of put that however you really want, and then take the acrylic case, get my arm out of the way, and you put that over, and there's the full display. And it really is gorgeous. It absolutely is. One issue that I do have is I wish I could leave it on all the time. As it is, you can't, because it is just straight up battery powered, and that's unfortunate. I think that the overall presence of this is much better when you're able to leave it on in a permanent kind of display. Now, price-wise, as I said, it's not cheap. At a cost of $290, like I said, there are aspects about this that I really feel should be perfect. Like the scratching really should not be there. I don't understand the packaging aspect. I mean, that really doesn't disrupt too much of, I guess, the kind of product itself, but it's weird. I really do wish that something like this, or you could plug a USB into something like that, just to give a full always on kind of display. And then the section On the inside here, with the light kind of bleeding through, I wish was a little bit better. All in all, it's a great piece, but there's also a Hot Toy one coming out, and I don't understand that one. The thing, though, that I've noticed is that Hot Toys, who usually partners with like Sideshow Collectibles, Sideshow does not have that piece on their website, to my knowledge. And I picked this up from Big Bad Toy Store, so I'm wondering if there's some kind of distribution issue of sorts. Maybe King's Art can distribute this replica here in the United States, whereas the Hot Toys one can't be. I don't know, and I don't know really the difference between what we have here and the Hot Toys one. So I don't know really if I'm going to ever pick up that Hot Toys one. Hot Toys is known for their quality. King's Art is pretty decent, but I do feel something like this should have been a little bit more refined. And Hot Toys definitely has that refinement for high quality products down. Either way, I am happy with my purchase, but again, I'm also a gigantic Iron Man fan, so that might be playing into a great deal of this. As I said though, I do like it, I do think it's worth it, but the word that I used, refinement, really does come into play. So keep that in mind. But all that being said, if this prop replica is a piece that you'd like to add to your collection, it is actually available right now at Big Bad Toy Store. So for that, I'll put a link down in the video description where you'll go to BBTS and you can check out availability on this, as well as the rest of the wide range of Marvel products. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate your support, guys, if you would do one small gesture for me. And that is just to simply hit that thumbs up button. That little tiny thing really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. I'd also like to send a huge thank you if you made it all the way to the end of this review. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch the video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. Also, I want to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons, who through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And if you'd like some information on how you can help support my channel by becoming a patron, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/optibotimus. And finally, remember, grow wise, grow strong, but never grow up. Thank you for watching. I love you, 3000.